Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be me making protein balls. So these are like chocolate peanut butter oatmeal, I guess, protein balls. And so I'm going to show you the process and then just weigh everything out and show you what I put in them, and that's gonna be it. So this will probably be a short and sweet video. So to start out, this is what I've got to make the protein balls. So first I've got a little pair of gloves here. I'm really weird about my hands, so I put the gloves on when I roll them. You'll see that here a little later. I've got two different size bowls here. I just got those at Walmart. I use them all the time. I'm going to store them in these Pyrex, these two kind of small Pyrexes. The nice thing about these is that I do like to put my protein balls in the freezer, and these will help keep them nice and frozen and solid. Then I've got a scale because I'm going to measure out all of the ingredients. I've got a spoon, a fork, and a knife just to scoop stuff out, to mash stuff up, and that kind of business. And then the ingredients for the actual protein ball, I've got this Isopure protein powder. This is the Dutch chocolate, this is the Dutch chocolate low carb. And then I've got these rolled oats. These are quick oats. It's important that you use quick oats or else it's not gonna taste right. And then I've got this great value honey, and then some coconut, I'm struggling. Then I've got some unsweetened coconut flakes, which I use these sometimes. I might not use them today, but that's something that you can add into these if you would like. I've got this Jif natural creamy peanut butter. Honestly, I don't think it tastes any different than the regular Jif peanut butter, but it has lower sodium. Then I've got ground flaxseed here. This is the Great Value brand. I do shop at Walmart, so a lot of my things are Great Value brand, and I don't have any problems with them. Then I've got these mini semi-sweet chocolate chips. I like the mini because you get, more small pieces of chocolate instead of a couple big pieces of chocolate. And then I've got some imitation vanilla. I barely put any of that in there. I honestly do not like this always save vanilla. It's just what I have. I need to find something else to use because this is actually kind of terrible tasting. But if you only use like a teensy bit of it, it's not too bad. Okay, this bowl is where I'm just using this to measure things out, and then everything will be mixed in this bowl. So first I'm going to start with the rolled oats, and just going to pour some in here. So I've got about 100. So I've got about 100 grams. I went a little tiny bit over on that. So pour that in there. Then I'm going to take the Isopure protein, and you can add as much or as little as you'd like. Honestly, depending on how much protein you want in there. I just want to have 1 scoop. I don't need to measure this because I have this scoop. So I just want 1.5 scoops of this protein. So I just dump that straight in there. And if you want to make these just for fun and not with the protein, you can always use just cocoa powder too, but I'm trying to do the protein to get some extra protein in. So then after that, we're going to go in with the flaxseed, and I want about 13 grams. So I'm just going to spoon this into here. There we go. Basically, one of these spoonfuls was almost perfect. I'm going to add a tiny bit more to get 13. Okay. There's that. Dump that in there. And this is ground flaxseed, so it mixes very well. Okay, after the flaxseed, like I said, normally if I wanted the coconut flakes in there, I would put them in there now. I'm going to put this to the side because I don't want the flakes this week. The texture just does not sound good at all to me. So I'm gonna take these chocolate chips here, and we're going to do 2 servings, which will be about 28 grams. Actually, I think we're gonna do 3 servings because these are the small ones. So we're gonna go, there we go, okay. Then I'm gonna dump these in there. So that's all the dry ingredients. So after the dry ingredients, I'm just gonna stir them up a little bit to get them mixed together. After that, this is the more tricky part when you're somebody like me. I just take this, set it on here, zero the scale out, and now I'm going to do the wet ingredients. So I'm going to take this vanilla, give it a little shake. Whoopsie. The thing about this vanilla is it's so messy, it comes out the top all the time. I'm going to put in, turn my scale off. Shouldn't even make it to 1 gram, hopefully. If I make it to 1 gram, it's okay, but I know I don't want to go over 1 gram. I just barely want any. So after I put that in, I'm gonna stir it. Zero that out. After that, we're gonna go in with some honey. And the honey, you're just gonna go and go and go till, I'm gonna go 40 today. Okay, about 40 grams, I went and tabbed it over. I'm gonna stir that up. After this, I am going to add just a little bit of water. Now, the water you just have to eyeball. So it starts becoming tricky. You just want to get it to where it's a little bit damp everywhere before you put your peanut butter in. This water is basically mixing with, I put about 70 grams of water, just so that you know. The water is just mixing with the protein to make it kind of like a protein pudding consistency, so that once we put this peanut butter in there, it'll really mix well. So this is about what it should look like before you get your protein in, or your peanut butter, I'm sorry. Before you get your peanut butter in there, it should be pretty mixed together. And then the peanut butter will mix really, really well. If for some reason it gets to be too wet of a consistency, we're gonna see how I feel after I put the peanut butter in there. If it gets to be too wet, you can always add a little bit more protein powder, or if you ever use PB2 or some type of peanut butter powder, you can add some peanut butter powder to soak up some of that excess water if you added a little too much. I'll see how my consistency is at the end. I think it should be just fine. So now I'm going to take my natural Jif peanut butter, zero my scale out. I always turn it off on accident. Goodness gracious. And we're gonna do about, let's see what that is. We're gonna do about 1.5 servings, which should be, we got 38, okay, so I'm gonna put 50 grams of peanut butter. I might go over here. Yep, I went over a little bit. So I put about 60 grams of peanut butter because, you know, I don't do the whole measuring out very well. But it's okay. The nice thing about the protein balls is you can mess it up and nobody's gonna know. That in there. This is where sometimes I like to come in with a fork, because then you can really press the peanut butter into the rest of the mixture. The spoon sometimes just grabs a hold of it and doesn't really press it in. So I kind of take it like this and press it into the rest. Okay, and my consistency is a little more liquidy than I would like. What I'm going to do is I don't think I need any more protein. I think I didn't add enough oats. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some oats into here to kind of give it a little bit more of a dry consistency. And this is where I'm just gonna eyeball it again. That's the nice thing about this, is you can just add a little bit, see how it goes. Right, that was the perfect thing to do. So now it's got the exact consistency that I want. So it's not too runny, but it's just pretty much, look at me just dropping stuff everywhere. All right, now what I'm gonna do, put all my ingredients aside, and I'm gonna take this bowl, get my Pyrex out and ready, and this is where the gloves come in. So these are non-powder latex gloves. I think they're latex, I don't know. They're gloves that definitely don't have powder in or on them. I use these for dishes and for any type of like cutting chicken. I'm very weird about my hands touching things and being dirty. And I have psoriasis, so sometimes when I have to clean my hands a bunch, it really aggravates it. So the gloves are great. So basically I just grab about a tablespoon of the mixture and just kind of roll it up and set it down. Now if you feel like you made it too big or too small, it really doesn't matter. You can make them as big or as small as you want, depending on, like, if you just want to be able to grab one and eat one and be satisfied, you might make them a little bigger. If you want to grab 3, you might make them a little smaller if that makes you feel like you're eating more. I usually make them right about this size every time.
The great thing about this recipe is that you can make them however you want and however much you want. So if you're going to make them just for yourself, you can make just a little small batch like I did. But if you wanted to take them to a party, or if you're a teacher and you wanted to take some for your class maybe, or to some sort of sporting tournament for athletes, you can make big batches also. And you don't have to roll them into balls. You can pour the mixture into a pan and mash it down and then cut it into whatever size pieces that you would like.
Okay, so as you can see, I've got about 18 protein balls here. Right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the lids on those, pop that in the freezer for a while, and then usually I like to leave mine in the freezer because I like to have that extra, they don't freeze like ice cubes. It's just like it gives them a little bit more, it's a better texture. And that's why I like them in the freezer. You can throw them in the fridge if you like it that way. But I'll throw them in the freezer and they'll be ready here probably in a couple hours for me to eat. And then I'll just leave them in there, and I just usually take a couple out. I have them as, a mid-morning snack or something right before bedtime if I feel like I need something sweet. I feel like this is just at least a little better than eating like a candy bar or something. So that is going to be it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. This is just something that I love these protein balls, and I thought I'd share it because somebody out there might love them too. If you like chocolate and you like peanut butter, I'm sure that you are going to enjoy these once you figure out how you like to make them. So please be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.